Gane's doing a lot better than I thought he was gonna do. To be honest with you guys. Damn, he's busting up Tom's nose with that jab. And then again, he's catching Tom with that jab each time he comes in. Oh! What the f? What is going on, boys? We are back again with a live instant reaction of UFC 321. Tom Aspinall taking on Ciryl Gane. It's about time Tom Aspinall is back fighting in a heavyweight division because they've been waiting for what are they going to do with Tom Aspinall versus John Jones. But he's taking on Ciryl Gane. Let's see what happens. Nice high kick. Tom's so good about throwing high kicks or a lead knee and getting his feet down so fast so you can throw a combination while he's still defending the kick, like get him set. Tom's already down on his feet and he's already throwing a combination. Nice right hand. I don't think it landed flush though. I feel like it blocked on Ciryl Gane's face. Ciryl Gane's doing a good job at always changing an angle as a southpaw and going outside Tom's lead leg. Usually Tom's able to blitz across and get people, but he's being more cautious trying to get across that void. Damn, he's busting up Tom's nose with that jab. And then again, he's catching Tom with that jab each time he comes in. Gane's doing a lot better than I thought he was gonna do. To be honest with you guys, he's doing a good job. Oh shit! Keeps eye poking, man. Once again, it's MMA. If somebody's coming at me and I go like this, it's my hands coming out. It's a natural reaction. It's a natural reaction. That's one thing people don't understand. Like when you do Muay Thai, when you kick, you need your hands out. Even in the gloves, when I throw a kick, my hands are open inside the gloves. You know, I love how people are like, oh, there's so many eye pokes in MMA. Guys, my fucking hands are open. It looks like the other eye got more penetration than the one he's closing right now. And I also think when you keep your eye like this, you're not giving it a chance to actually let it like kind of like recess. The pressure on the eye is not always the best thing to do. When you get hurt in the eye, you don't want to look with your left eye. You want to close both your eyes and keep it there, because if I have my left eye and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, that sucks ass. That sucks. He was fighting a wonderful fight. Like he was doing a good job turning the angles, not allowing Tom Aspinall to get across the void, do a combination. Right there, we can see that like that's how you can beat you can get Tom Aspinall troubles, is by always turning the angle on him, never give him the opportunity to run you over on a train. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But Ciryl Gane was doing a good job. I mean, I was actually impressed how good Ciryl Gane was going. So boys, let me get in the office and break this down for you guys. And you know, when we talk about UFC 321, we had PrizePicks going because this video is sponsored by PrizePicks. Now guys, you know, PrizePicks is a daily fantasy sport game we play directly from your phone. It's very simple. Go to your app store, download PrizePicks. When you do that, use my promo code MIGHTY. Cool promotion going on for new users. You play $5 and you get $50 in your lineup. And for UFC 321, we had a lineup. So we went with Jailton Almeida landing less than 23.5 significant strikes, and then for Umar Nurmagomedov, we went less with him landing 57.5 strikes. He only landed 32, and then we went less with Tom Aspinall with 27.5. But since it was ruled a disqualification or a no contest, it did not play. But we still got a clean $600, boys. It's always fun playing PrizePicks because you make your picks only at the right place, which is PrizePicks. Now, shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back to breaking down the rest of UFC 321. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We just got done watching UFC 321. Tom Aspinall taking on Ciryl Gane. Now, there's a lot to discuss about the main event, but we're going to go down the whole entire card, and we're going to start with Jailton Almeida taking on Volkov. Now, that was an interesting matchup because there's been a lot of praise about Jailton Almeida because he's kind of like the dark horse of the division. But when I watched this fight, it was actually kind of hilarious because, the ref stood him up when he got stuck in Volkov's guard, right? Stood him up, and when he stood him up, Jailton Almeida took him down immediately right again and landed right back into Volkov's guard. The crazy thing about this fight is that Volkov ran a split decision, even though he didn't. Jailton Almeida had 10 minutes of control time. Think about that. 10 minutes of control time in a fight, and there's a 3-round fight. So 5 minutes of that fight, Volkov won the fight. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. Don't get me wrong, this is mixed martial arts, and part of the game is jiu-jitsu, wrestling, sambo, whatever. If I'm able to control my opponent for 10 minutes of the fight, and the fight is only 15 minutes, how does that make sense that he won a split decision? Now, I thought Volkov did a good job of always attacking off his back. You know, he had a deep, I believe it was in the second round, he had a deep Kimura attempt where Jailton Almeida didn't feel really threatened by it. But I think what, you know, I felt my gut after watching that fight. I felt Jailton Almeida won that fight just because the control time. Now everybody's gonna say, "Oh, well, it's always about control time, Demetrious." Then eliminate wrestling, eliminate jiu-jitsu. What is the point allowing an athlete to? I just want to make sure my stats are correct. But when I took a look at it, I was like, "Man, that was a split decision." Let me see what the scores are. And that's one thing I love about ESPN is that you go there and it will tell you, right? I mean, control time, 10 minutes and 47 seconds. Right? Significant strikes landed for Volkov, 24 to significant strikes of 9 for Jailton Almeida. Right? So I felt like they got that one wrong. If someone's going to control another athlete or another opponent for 10 minutes, which is damn near 70% of the fight, I think they got that one wrong. So I would like to see Jailton Almeida get that fight. But, you know, obviously, you know, I guess what DC said was correct. Jailton Almeida can't fight. Okay, now, let us get to the next one, which was Bautista taking on Umar Nurmagomedov. Now, you know, I was very impressed with Bautista. Now, let's talk about the guys he beat to get here. He beat Jose Aldo. He put on a great performance against Patchy Mix. And now he's getting an opportunity to take on Umar Nurmagomedov, who just came off a loss against Nurmagomedov. Now, in the getting ready for this fight, you know, one of the biggest things I said is that you cannot respect Umar Nurmagomedov, and that's exactly what he did. He had that mindset. He went out there right off the rip, threw a body kick. Once you do the body kick, Umar grabbed it and started wrestling, which is a great response from Umar Nurmagomedov. But I liked how he just literally took the fight to Umar Nurmagomedov, didn't give him the opportunity to dictate it. But one of the things that Umar Nurmagomedov is so good at is that grappling exchange. Obviously, coming from Eagle MMA, you know, the coach, Habib Nurmagomedov, who's very good about smothering people on the ground. That's what we saw Umar Nurmagomedov do. But the one thing that Bautista did do, he did roll for the legs. He did go for a nasty toe hold. Didn't really transition from the toe hold and go for a knee bar or a heel hook. But while he was trying to, you know, tear their toe hold, we saw Umar Nurmagomedov use that grappling IQ, roll through it, keep on defending, and then end up using that attack in order to pass his guard. And then the fight gets back on the feet. They're going back and forth. But you can see Umar Nurmagomedov was always looking for the takedown. And that's the thing he likes to do. He looks for the takedown, out grapples his opponent, looking to pass guard, gets the back, locks in the body triangle, and always searching for that choke. There's a couple things that Bautista did hit Umar Nurmagomedov, almost kind of dropped him. It was a drop, but a drop almost like kind of off balance. He threw that body kick. Beautiful technique. The shin came across the body and the knee almost kind of hit the head and dropped Umar Nurmagomedov. And the way Bautista fought Umar Nurmagomedov is the correct way. That's how you fight Umar Nurmagomedov. Force him to wrestle you. And the only thing is that Bautista didn't have an answer for the grappling IQ and just how good Umar Nurmagomedov is on the ground. Now, what's next for Umar Nurmagomedov? Obviously, he's probably going to fight the winner of Peter Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili. Now, when him and Merab fought the first time, I felt it was going to come down to the X factor, who's going to win the wrestling exchange. And I still feel the exact same way. Only difference is that we have seen Merab level up with his hands, almost dropping and knocking out Corey Sandhagen. Obviously, Merab has to get through Peter Yan. If Merab gets through Peter Yan, I think we're going to see Merab versus Umar Nurmagomedov. And once again, it's going to come down to that X factor of who's going to win the wrestling exchange. Nobody has yet been able to out-scramble and out-grapple the machine Merab Dvalishvili. So, with that being said, great fight from Umar Nurmagomedov and good fight from Bautista. Now, let us move on to the co-main event. Now, these girls have fought each other before in the past. Mackenzie Dern taking on Virna. Now, the first time they fight, it was going back and forth. They're both good at jiu-jitsu. They both have a black belt. Obviously, I said in the breakdown or the final predictions that Mackenzie Dern has, you know, competed at a higher level when it comes to Brazilian jiu-jitsu. But doesn't mean Virna can't compete on the ground. But the biggest thing I would say that I saw in this fight was Mackenzie Dern's jab. Her jab was finding her spot, able to bruise Virna's eyes and just really pepper her. You know, when it went to the ground, I felt like nobody had a leg up. You know, so there were some good exchanges there. But when it came to the stand-up, we can see a definitely big difference in Mackenzie Dern popping that jab, moving. And she was also parrying Virna's jab, parrying and popping her own jab. You know, I would love to see Mackenzie Dern, you know, pop a jab, parry, 2, 3, and throw some leg kicks, some body kicks. But we didn't really see her put together some very devastating combinations where she was able to like pop, 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 and move to the angle and pop, 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 and follow up that way. But congrats to Mackenzie Dern. You know, obviously the champion Wei Li, she went up a division because she's searching for that other you know, title where I think she can beat both those girls just because she's way more dynamic and way more athletic. But congrats to Mackenzie Dern. And in her post-fight speech, she says, you know, she won ADCC and she became a world champion. The only other person who's been able to do that is Fabricio Verdum. So congrats to her. That's an amazing feat to add under your legacy. Now, we are here for the main event. Tom Aspinall taking on Ciryl Gane. Now, it's finally about damn time that we get to see Tom Aspinall fight again, because he was on the shelf for a long time waiting for Tom was on the shelf for a long time waiting to see what's going to happen to Jon Jones. Now that Jon Jones has decided to, you know, he wants to wait for the White House, now we finally got Tom Aspinall taking on Ciryl Gane. The last time we saw Ciryl Gane in the octagon is when he fought Alexander Volkov, and he won that in a split decision where I felt Volkov should have won it. But when you look at this fight, Tom Aspinall has just been on an absolute tear. He's never made it out of the first round, and he technically didn't make it out of this first round either. But typically when he's fighting, he's usually blowing the doors off of his opponents, blitzing across the void, landing a 3 or 2 punch combination, and finishing his opponent. One of the things that Ciryl Gane did very, very well against Tom Aspinall is he kept always turning Tom Aspinall. If I'm fighting someone and I'm constantly turning them, when they decide to blitz, I'm not on the railroad tracks. I can't get ran over by the train. And Ciryl Gane did a good job of popping that jab. Each time Tom Aspinall tried to get close, pop, from the south position, he'll always land that jab. Now, Tom Aspinall did do some great things. I love how he threw the body kick. And one thing that Tom Aspinall does very well, if you guys go back and watch his fights, and even this fight, he's able to throw a high kick. Once he lands a high kick, he gets his feet down super fast and bop, bop. So he's bop, 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 or bop, bop, bop. Or he'll throw the knee, bop, bop. It's always head knee high or knee up on one leg, foot down fast, and an instant combination. That's where he catches a lot of his opponents. But Ciryl Gane kept on turning. So even when Tom Aspinall threw that high kick, right? Boom. And as Tom Aspinall setting his feet down, Ciryl Gane's already turned the corner. That way he's not getting the full energy of those shots that he is throwing. Now, obviously, the fight in a controversial, I don't want to say controversial, but in an eye poke. And people don't understand. They always talk about, when are we going to fix eye pokes in mixed martial arts? Newsflash, you're never fucking going to do it. The reason why is because as human beings, our natural reaction when somebody comes towards us is to open my hands and stick my hands out. When I throw a body kick, when you learn Muay Thai and you throw kicks, they don't teach you to throw them like this. They teach you to open your hands, you throw your hand, you put your hands in front of your opponent's face to block them, and then you throw like this. Boom. So if you look at Muay Thai guys, and when they throw a kick, or kickboxers, granted you can't see Muay Thai guys' hands or kickboxers' hands because they're in the gloves. So why would the technique change when you get in little gloves? It's not like you can change the technique. To throw like this is not, it's not natural. My hands are closed. In order for me to keep my balance when I throw a high kick, I have to open my hands, and I put my hands on listen to this, on my opponent's face. Boom. That's a leg kick. That's a body kick. People don't realize that. And obviously the accident foul was an accident, right? But the way he had his hands on Tom Aspinall's face is the correct technique to do. It just went in his hands, right? If you go back and watch Jon Jones, he's a great eye poker, but if you go back and watch the greats who do body kick, if you go back and watch my fights, when I throw body kicks or I throw leg kicks, my hands are here, they're open. So once again, you're never going to fix eye pokes in mixed martial arts unless you put us in gloves that are like in actual like boxing gloves. And I think one of the reasons why everybody's so upset and they're kind of controversial is that Ciryl Gane was fighting good. He was doing a great fight. I was impressed how Ciryl Gane was able to maneuver and give Tom a hard time to track him down. Now, Tom did try for a takedown, and Ciryl Gane was able to defend it. But that was the thing that was like, damn it, like, what would have happened if, you know, the fight would have gone on even more? Because Tom Aspinall was seeing a little adversity. He wasn't get blown out, but he was being bloodied up, which you never seen him done that. We never seen him bloodied up before. And we had someone who was athletic, who looked fresh, who was game in order to, you know, beat Tom Aspinall. Now, what is going to happen next? Obviously, they're both healthy. Hopefully, Tom Aspinall with the eye poke, hopefully it's not a retina tear or anything on, you know, the eyeball itself. Hopefully it's just an eye poke and maybe abrasion. Give him 3 to 4 weeks and clear it up. And you know what I would love to see? I would love to see these guys added on the December card of the UFC in Las Vegas, where Merab Dvalishvili taking on Peter Yan and Joshua Van taking on Alex Pantoja. Make it a 3-banger way to, what a way to end 2025. Or we can see him in January on the first Paramount card with Ilya Deport taking on Paddy Pimblett and Tom Aspinall taking on Ciryl Gane. Now, the tricky thing about this is that we need to hurry to get a winner for this fight, because we have the White House card coming up. And I know Alex Pereira said he wants to go up to heavyweight and try his hand, becoming a 3-divisional champion. So we need to hurry up and get this fight done and set. Or do we give Alex Pereira the opportunity to fight John Jones? That is the hardest thing. And now when we talk about wrapping up UFC 321, I think it was a pretty interesting way to feel about the card. Very, I would say, lackluster. I think if I had to pick a fight that was very entertaining, was probably the Bautista versus Umar Nurmagomedov, just because of the grappling exchange. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, that first exchange when he threw the body kick, Umar caught it. He started passing guard. Bautista went for the legs, went for a toe hold, almost came back on top. Umar rolled through, passed the guard. I like how Bautista was able to take the fight to Umar. Umar responded with that amazing grappling. So, boys, I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of the instant reaction. We kind of mixed it up a little bit of me not doing the live, but guys, we have the Mighty Guru show dropping on Monday, as we're going to cover everything under the sun of UFC 321. So make sure you guys leave a comment down below. I feel like I got it right. I picked Dern. I picked Tom, you know, even though it was a you know, thing. I picked Tom, and I also picked Umar Nurmagomedov, and I picked Jailton Almeida to win. I can't remember if I picked Volkov. I have to go back and look. But boys, I felt like I did pretty well tonight. So hope you guys made your picks at the right place, which is PrizePicks. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell to go live, and we'll see you guys Monday for the Mighty Guru show. Peace.